Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I've been sitting here refreshing the fmcsa.gov website all morning this morning, and here it is. Finally, even 21 expires on 11/30 of 2021. In accordance with 49 CFR 3390.25, this extension and amendment of Declaration number 2020-002 is effective at 12:01 Eastern Time, September 1st, and shall remain in effect until 11:59 p.m. November 30th of 2021. Modification or termination by FMCSA or revocation of the declaration of national emergency under 42 USC blah blah blah, whichever is soonest. So, it appears as though the hours of service extension has been granted until, where did it go? Where did it go? November 31st? November 30th of 2021 at 11:59 p.m. Let me just click. I have not even read this. I just wanted to get this news out right away. Let's click here and see if the stipulations have changed as far as what is exempt. Okay. So you're still subject to speed limits and traffic restrictions. Um, your ability to not be impaired through fatigue, illness, or injury. Still no alcohol and drugs. No texting and driving. You're not exempt from that. Here it says related to the driver's record of duty status, supporting documents, retention of driver's records, and supporting documents and electronic logs. So when you're not operating under the extension, it says you still have to record your hours of service on an ELD, unless you are ELD exempt. You're still required to maintain ELD records when not under the exemption. I'm just skimming right from the FMCSA website. I have not read this yet. Okay, let's see if we can find the section here. It doesn't again cover the what items are exempt and what items are not. It appears to be just a direct extension of the exemptions that were already in place. Yeah, it says you get regulatory relief from 49 CFR 395.3 for commercial motor vehicles operations while providing direct assistance supporting emergency relief related to COVID-19. Direct assistance terminates when a driver or commercial vehicle is used in interstate commerce to transport cargo or provide services that are not in support of emergency relief. So yeah, it looks like it is just a direct extension of the order that was already in place, and starts tomorrow or tonight at midnight and goes till November 30th at midnight. So yeah, a lot of people were waiting for that. I was waiting for it. Already started changing how I'm dispatching tomorrow. So now I can start to look for some different loads here. I was noticing this morning watching the load boards and booking freight that rates were kind of already going crazy, but a lot of that has to do with the hurricane down in the south. It's apparently drawn a lot of trucks down there. And holy cow. BOC, and thanks for stopping in. He said, did you see the $11,000 loads coming out of San Fran to Louisiana up to 30-day drop trailer? No, that's crazy. You know what though? I don't know that I would let them have my trailer for 30 days for 11 grand. Unless I had extra trailers, but right now, man, that trailer could make me 40 grand in that period of time. They better up that. Yeah, I had gotten some emails a week or so ago about if you wanted to get some trucks down to the south there and take part in the emergency relief, but they had to be down there the next day, and I didn't have any trucks that could do that. And plus, it was a mandatory 30-day commitment, which I wasn't looking for either. But Yeah. So another, what is that? September, October, November, another 3 months grace period. I don't know why they just wouldn't go to the end of the year. They're lucky they did that because freight rates were starting to explode already today. I mean, let me tell you what I'm looking at here. Let me. This is just and this is one pick, one drop, mind you. I almost booked this load, but it didn't fit with the hours of service on tomorrow's rules. Uh, Allentown, PA to New York for tomorrow. It was a one pick, one drop. Let me see. I forget how many miles it was. Let me bring it up. It was just blowing up. I think the load is gone. One pick, one drop. It was like 180. I couldn't believe it, but I couldn't do it because it didn't fit with the new hours of service for tomorrow. But there's still loads. 188 miles, $2,500. You know, all kinds of this stuff up there in the Northeast. But it drew a lot of trucks down to hurricane relief. Yeah, rates blew up today. That's nice. It's about time. Oh, we got some people in here. All right. Grumpy Trucker sipping on that Starbucks coffee. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Help me with that dividend. Scott says, from what I understand, these are emergency loads only, not routine loads that move anyway. Right. Yes, that is true. But the loss is you don't have to carry any kind of supporting documentation. There is no requirement to carry supporting documentation on that. I have read that emergency order upside down and inside out, but uh, the way things are right now, just about any shipper or receiver will tell you this is an emergency. We got to have this, and take a trip to the grocery store. Obviously, you can't self-determine whether or not it's emergency load, but most places are more than willing to support that for you. I've asked a couple times for a supporting document just because I was a little sketchy or unsure. They're like, yeah, right, type it up, I'll send it to you, and we got it. Stephen Days says moving taters around the clock. Yeah, I don't know. We got to sleep sometime, right? Uh, BOC says got to be like 2,000. Yeah, I was seeing 3,200 on that load this morning. Cash money. That's right. Position yourself. The Northeast went, I don't want to say soft. It softened up for a little bit, but it's bad. Now the South has softened up just a little bit. It's still good. Don't get me wrong, but I'll try to get, when I send a truck to the Southeast, I'll try to send them up to the Northeast and then out of there because I'm scrolling here and I'm 2 pages down and I'm still seeing all the loads are less than 250 miles and we're still $2,000. That's just awesome. That's all reefer freight, but well, that's what natural disasters do. I didn't even see the news. Anybody tell me how bad it was down there? I don't even watch the news. BOC says none of his drivers have been asked about logs this entire year. Yeah, I had a couple inspections happen, and they just ask, "What do you have on?" And you say like potatoes or cheese or whatever, and they're just like, "Nothing I can do to you." DOT is grossly misinformed about that exemption rule. I will say that. So CYA, cover your ass all times. The one got stopped for an inspection. He had a load of potatoes on, and that was actually a relief load. It was going to a food bank in Michigan. He got pulled in for an inspection, and the officer was like, "Well, there's nothing I can do to you because you're hauling this." But he says, "Be advised that you're not exempt from the hours of service. The load is exempt from the hours of service." And just read my driver the riot act. Just about everything he said was wrong. First of all, a load is not exempt. A load does not keep a logbook. It doesn't matter what it is. The driver keeps the logbook, so the driver is exempt from hours of service. And then he's trying to explain the technicalities of why the driver is wrong and he's right. And I'm just like, at every point, he's wrong, but it doesn't matter. So just get through it and get on down the road. But they're very misinformed about the exemption. Uh, Scott says that's what I thought. I know a lot of guys running pretty much all food loads exempt. Risky, I think. There is criteria. It has to be a relief load, and it has to be going to a grocery store or distribution center. So if you're hauling raw chicken into another Tyston for processing, that is not exempt. That is not a distribution center. Jerome Jones in here. Thanks for stopping in. What else we got? Jermaine says he never got these good paying loads with the company he works for. I think they're changing the rate con. What can you do? Uh, well, I mean, first you got to prove it. The way you could prove it is to call the broker and ask them, if it is a broker load, ask them what the load pays if they won't tell you. Uh, I'm not saying you should do it, but I saw somebody on YouTube call up and pretend to be the accounting department and say, "Hey, I think we invoiced you wrong for this load. Can you tell me what the invoice was and what it was supposed to be?" They busted them skimming like $800 off in the office, and if your percentage, they're required to show you. But if they're showing you altered documents, you won't know that. Best thing you can do, I think, if you don't trust your carrier, you don't have a good relationship, is probably move on. There's plenty of us out here that, I mean, the buzzword is transparency. I send everything right from the broker to I CC so they can see that I also sent it to the broker and to the driver. He said New Orleans is really bad. Okay. Yeah, I don't really watch the news, so I don't. 1 million without power in Louisiana. Ooh, boy. So are they saying it's worse than Katrina? Or not quite as bad as Katrina? Back during Katrina, I still watch the news, but I don't anymore. I don't have a clue. And you know, whatever. Cash says the real reason you need to cover your ass is not necessarily a DOT officer looking at your log. It's in case you get into an accident. A lawyer is going to really look into what you're doing. Yes, you're right. Lawyers will tear you a new one up and down the other. Joe, that's let's see, Lineage Logistics rules. That's $125 late fee. He wants to know what he missed. You missed, sir, that the FMCSA extended the hours of service exemption for essential goods. In fact, I got to text that out to my my drivers here, and so they know. Exemption extended. Extended. Now see if we get a big smiley face or a thumbs up back. Calteruso says, "Can I load drive a truck? Can a load drive a truck? I don't know. That load better start keeping its logbook straight. I tell you what, that was just the dumbest thing I ever heard. And then he's trying to explain to the driver how a load is exempt, but the driver's not exempt. It was just, oh, I got back a great. How long? November 30. All right, all right. What else we got here? Oh, L Stacker's in the house. Cannonball the like button. Thanks, buddy. Everybody check out my buddy L Stacker's channel, Snowboarder Extraordinaire. Cattle Holland says I took my load to a grocery store and it was rejected. Yeah, I don't know. They might want you to clean off the cattle hauler, obviously hauling live cattle. They might want you to clean off the dingleberries off that cattle before they put it out on the shelf. It better be a big shelf because that meat is not going to stay put. It's going to try to move around. Freight trucking in the house says driving home from college visits, might as well learn something. There you go. Freight trucking, hours of service exemption extended to November 30th. How do you like that? Just found it on the FMCSA website. Read out the order there. And by the way, is that your Kenworth in that thumbnail? Or not thumbnail. What do you call it? Avatar? Whatever you call that. That's a sweet looking Kenworth right there. So, I should try to bring up that order. Animal feed was also exempt. Now, it doesn't say animal feed going to a distribution center. It had just said animal feed. So animals are more important than people, apparently. But hey, I'll take it. We'll take it, right? Yeah, I can't find on here the... Oh, here we go. Here we go right here. All right. The extension and amendment of declaration number such and such provides regulatory relief for commercial vehicles operations providing direct assistance and support of emergency relief efforts related to COVID-19 and is limited to transportation of livestock and livestock feed. So cattle hauler, did you know about that? Transportation of livestock is exempt. I didn't know that. I thought it was just livestock feed. Medical supplies and equipment related to the testing, diagnosis, and treatment of the virus. 3. Vaccines, constituent products, medical supplies, and equipment, including ancillary supplies and kits for the administration of vaccines related to the prevention of COVID-19. So, all hygiene items, soaps, um, sanitizers, medical supplies, stuff like that. Supplies and equipment necessary for community safety, sanitation, and prevention of community transmission of COVID-19, such as masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, soap, and disinfectants. Now, it's also worth noting that if you have a mixed load, say it's half tiddlywinks, 3/4 or a quarter something else, and they call it a nominal quantity. They don't define what a nominal quantity is, but if you have a small quantity of something on your trailer, like a hand sanitizer, maybe you got 2 boxes on hold, they will not grant you exemption for that. So let's go back to it. Food, paper products, and other groceries for emergency restocking of distribution centers of stores. That would also include paper towel, Kleenex, toilet paper, if it was for emergency restocking. So not every single load. There is a paper place I hauled for a good part of the year last year. They put right on their bills that it was tissue, it was toilet paper, paper towels, Kleenex. They put right on the bills it's for every load emergency restocking. And in fact, I hauled one last week and they still have that on there. But that can be straight up true because it goes to a lot of medical supply places. Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, ethyl alcohol. And number 7, supplies to assist individuals impacted by the consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. Example, building materials for individuals displaced or otherwise impacted as a result of the emergency. Boy, is that vague. That's you could make a case for a lot of things under that rule. Supplies to assist individuals impacted by the consequences of COVID-19. Boy, you could shoehorn a lot of things in there. And then direct assistance does not include non-emergency transportation of qualifying commodities or routine commercial deliveries, including mixed loads with a nominal quantity of qualifying emergency relief added to obtain the benefits of this emergency declaration. To be eligible for the exemption, the transportation must be both 1 of qualifying commodities, and 2 incident to the immediate restoration of those essential supplies. So that is top to bottom. There's some more restrictions and conditions, but I'll read that later. Did he do? Yeah, I still don't see anything about carrying documentation of it. So there it is right there. That's the whole everything. I did surprised me. I guess I didn't realize that live animals were part of that exemption. I did know animal feed. It's funny how, you know, human food going. Well, wait, that one did not say it had to be going to a grocery store or distribution center, did it? Let me revisit that. You know what? It doesn't actually say anything about food. Now, when we're done here, I'm going to go and read that in its entirety. But, food before had to be going to a distribution center or grocery store, but animal feed could be going any old place. Caslin, that COVID relief, FEMA is different. There is a separate order for the FEMA hurricane relief. There's a whole entire separate order for that. Sterling says, can I keep a box of masks in the sleeper? Write my own BOL for it? Ask another owner operator with some authority. I don't know. You know what? It's worth a try. What the hell? What the heck? Basically anything bought from Amazon, right? I can say that items in the box are to assist people. You know, make Amazon's is door-to-door delivery, and there was a period of time there where you could not go to a store for the most part. That's a direct impact. I don't know. That one rule there is very, very vague. Jerome Jones, does a load of paper towels exempt? Paper towels will qualify because they're for sanitation, but you got to meet that other part. Is it an emergency resupply? That's I can't, nobody answer that for you except for the shipper or receiver or the broker. But the product qualifies. That's for sure. Um, let's see here. Yeah. So is anybody else happy with that extension? Was anybody else looking forward to it going away? I think if they would have let it expire, rates would have just exploded. Um, they're already starting to today get high, but there's other reasons for that also. So that's good news. But I would rather have it this way than the other way. You can make rates high as you want, if you can't deliver a load. What good is it? They're just going to penalize you. But it's going to be quite an adjustment when we have to go back the other way. Not just going out straight running outlaw or exempt, but when it's needed. There's a lot of times we get bill of ladings. I've even had dog food loads where it says right on there emergency resupply, and it'll say like critical to our national infrastructure or something like that. Yeah. So, Freight Trucking says, remember you need 10 hours off after running an exempt load. I actually glad they extended it. Well, that's good. There seems to be some debate about that. So it's vague. It says you need 10 hours off or a break coming off of an exemption. But it doesn't say then if your next load is exempt, are you required to still take that break? Because the next load is exempt, you're exempt from what you did previously. It's a gray area. It's a gray area. If you want to err on the side of caution, definitely take that break. Freight Trucking says, where'd he go? He got pulled into a scale and sent logs, so the officer was told that the exemption means they can't stop the load. Okay. They can't stop the driver either, is what I think they're a little bit mistaken about. Road float channel member, thank you, sir. Sounds like all my Home Depot loads are exempt. That doesn't make sense in my mind. It's a gray area. Home Depot, I think they could make a case for emergency resupply because they can't get any of their products. Damn near every load is an emergency. They Home Depot is buying their own cargo ships to ship their own containers back and forth overseas. It's a lot of money to spend. I would say that qualifies for as an emergency, but you got to ask them. But yeah, it said building materials, different things like that. Sage News got a video coming out soon for drivers. All right, we'll watch out for that. Sterling says, I stayed away from running exempt. The government will gladly give you enough rope to hang yourself, and it would be FDA approved. You got to if you're going to hang yourself, make sure you use an FDA approved noose. Definitely. Cash is King Trucking Channel member says, there's a part of me that wishes it went away just to see what the rates would have done. I think they'd have blown up. They're screaming already that capacity is so tight. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people out there that are running straight exempt. Take 10% capacity, 15% capacity away from those trucks. You could probably take across the board 10% capacity out of the market by doing that. How many more trucks are we going to be short? Willman says, I'm talking box trailer, dry van, LTL. It doesn't really matter to you and I. DIY, we operate gliders, but you're a fleet owner now. Yeah, it matters to me. Well, I'll be honest with you. I have a glider, but it don't move. It don't move much anymore. So, but it's hard. It gets harder. The hours of service thing. I know that the drivers deal with the brunt of it, and then to switch back, it you know have to make a drastic change on dispatching too. So it's difficult, uh, and if the communication isn't there, it's even more difficult. But we're making the adjustments. Greg Hayes, good morning to all from Idaho. Thanks for coming in, Greg. Appreciate it. We're just talking about the hours of service exemption has been extended. Cassius King says the way I had interpreted was if you're going from exempt load to regular load, you need a 10-hour break. That's kind of the way I understand it too. If you're staying on an exemption, then you stay on the exemption rules. I think that they didn't define that very well, and it could be argued, but hey, government's great at gray areas, right? They make it vague, just vague enough that they can get you for something, don't they? Cattle Holland with Lone Star says, did you see the survey from FMCSA wanting to know how many carriers and who is using the COVID exemption? Saw that a few days ago. I did not see that. And why would anybody fill that out? Why would you testify against yourself to a government agency voluntarily? You could be incriminating yourself without even knowing it. I think that would be absolutely foolish thing to do. But hey, I guess people do. What did it come out in an email? I didn't even see that. I tell you what, shippers and receivers are going to have to get their acts together and change their tune on a bunch of things, because they have completely disregarded any of that as far as scheduling and hours of service anymore. So they're in for a rude awakening when it comes time to go back to doing it the other way. I tell you what, but they don't care. They don't care. They're just perfectly happy to let the drivers and the trucking suffer the consequences of it. Road Float says, exactly. I did 5 drops yesterday at one store, and the place was empty at the end of the day, or so it seems. Yes, everything's in an emergency state right now. I don't care what kind of store it is. It's I go to the truck stop by my house several times a week to pick something up or to meet a driver to grease his trailer, whatever. Go in and grab something. They haven't had Gatorade on the shelf in over a month. They can't get it. They have Powerade, can't get Gatorade. Gatorade's got some labor problems. Can't get the bottles. They can't get the damn bottles to pack their Gatorade. They're short. You go in and look at the cooler. The coolers are half-ish empty. What they do have, they'll have Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, the Pepsi, Diet Pepsi. They won't have the Baja Blast and the ancillary products that go with it. They have the basics in stock. Anything else is either empty or near empty all the time. Then you turn around and look at the potato chips and the peanuts and all the different things. Sometimes there's a lot of times one thing hanging on each peg. And I don't live in BFE. This is a busy place. So yeah, I mean, you go to the grocery store, it's not uncommon to walk in and see a whole aisle where they're not exactly cleaned out, but it's pretty bare. So we're by no means out of the woods. By no means at all. Cattle Hauler says, I don't remember the trucking newsletter I saw it in. Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you remember that. Sterling says, I'd be curious to see if accidents have gone up with exemptions being taken advantage of. You know what? I've talked about that with my buddy Cash, and we were wondering about that. I would, I'm not on the road as much, but just recently, I would almost wager to say accidents have gone down. I don't see as many accidents anymore. Now, is there less trucks on the road? Well, yeah, absolutely. Last summer, during the worst of it, far less trucks on the road, but you could sail through Chicago at 65, not hit your brakes. There was that many vehicles that left less on the road, but now they're back on the road. I don't know if there's many trucks or not. I have no idea. But I personally don't see the accidents that he used to see. Whether or not it's related to that, no evidence for nothing. I'm just saying, just saying that can keep you from getting in trouble with anything. Just saying. Freight Waves 5 days ago was pushing that FMCSA survey. Okay, well, maybe we're discovering Freight Waves isn't our friend either. I don't know. Good morning, Mr. Truck Diver. Yeah, agreeing with Sterling. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm happy to see it back. Uh, if you wanted to, pay me $4,000 for a 200-mile load because that's what it might bring tomorrow. If it's bringing 3,200 today and tomorrow 4,000, that. But a mile load, they could really screw that up, so you can't make the delivery either. If everybody just dicks the dog and screws it up, I don't know. They can screw up anything. I would rather just be able to deliver freight and keep operating. Jermaine says, yes, sir, truck stops all over America, shortage in the mall. Girl at a pilot told me McLean is where they get product from. No workers at McLean. It's another very valid point. People can't get help. We frequent the local establishment here by me that may or may not serve alcohol and food, and we like to go there for fish and whatever, prime rib from time to time. We know the owners. We're pretty friendly with the owners, and they're saying they can't get their deliveries. When the Cisco truck shows up, they usually get about half their order. They can't get chicken breasts. They can't get. They're about to lose all their fish. And what else? Oh, alcohol. They can't get alcohol now. They'll order. She said last week they ordered 80 bottles and they got 16. So how is an establishment that runs off of that product supposed to survive without getting those products? And the supplier guy said that places are like supply places and manufacturers are starting to close down voluntarily, causing some problems rather than waiting the government mandate they close down. I don't know if they're talking closures or what. I don't get involved in that, but just saying what they're saying up the supply chain. So I think you can words easy for me to say, legitimately make the case for about anything being an emergency anymore, and that rule is vague enough to categorize. But just make sure, don't go making things up on your own. Answering that survey may help to get it extended if they've seen enough people using it. It may. I guess I'm very jaded. The other direction. I'm jaded. Sterling says, I'm happy with my power only drop and hook right now. I do miss reefer, but I think the economy is going to turn bad hardcore. You might be right. If you got something rock solid, I'd stick with bird and a worth 2 in the bush, 2 in the meat grinder, 2 in the freezer. I don't know. It ain't always a good idea to just get drawn away seeing them dollar signs and give up something that'll carry you through. That might carry you through some bad times. So that's good news. Just check an email here. We got jeepers. Yeah, good loads out there. Let's check the Chicago area right now. Chicago, Illinois. Just say to New York. What they got for reefer loads today? How much they want? How much money they're willing to pay? Tell you, last Friday we hit some home runs out of here going to the East Coast. Madison, Wisconsin to Albany, New York, $6,200. Yeah, it's good. You got to scroll down a ways before you get down below $5,000. And you got to remember that's only 950 miles. What the heck is that per mile? It's only $6.50 a mile. I don't generally turn the key for anything less than $9 a mile these days. Have you noticed that? We're all turning into freight snobs. I was talking to Cash about that the other day, and I tell my drivers all the time, listen, you're really gonna say, $5 a mile isn't good enough? And I'm like, and he agrees with me. Then he's like, yeah, the other day I caught myself saying, man, I wish I hadn't to take that load because load today, is X amount dollars more. I'm like, We're all turning into freight snobs. I tell you what, don't get me wrong, get that money. Why can't I? There we go. Cassius King says I was in a large Road Ranger the other day, and they were closed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. because they had to consolidate their hours because of staffing issues. All right, I know that people are getting paid to stay home and not work. I get that. I understand that. How in the hell? Because I'm not up on these things because I don't care. I have to stay away from these things to keep my heart from exploding out of my chest and my brain from exploding all over the walls. How the hell much are these people getting paid to stay home? How can you support a household, maybe a family, pay enormous amounts of rent on what you're getting to stay home? And largely, didn't a lot of places stop that? So now where the hell are they getting the money? I don't necessarily understand. Ooh, Sacramento to Boston, 10,000 on a reefer. I don't do any that for less than 35,000 sterling. I mean, what does that pay in normal times? Uh-oh, what do we got here? Uh-oh. Truck salesman's calling me, trying to sell me another truck. We'll call him back later. Uh, what does that pay in normal produce season? About 5,000 when the produce season is hopping. I can't remember. Uh, Oxnard to Chicago. I think when things are hopping is like what 4,000, 3,500, 4,000, something like that. It's been a long time since I did those produce loads, but now you can. I've seen people hit almost 10,000 on that. Sorry, it's business hours here, trying to just keep up on business. Also, Roadfloat says Cisco was in the news the other day. Told 15% of the customers there no longer will deliver to them. No drivers, no inventory at the warehouse. Yeah, it's okay. So no drivers, no workers. Where'd they all go? Where the hell did that? I have a hard time believing there's more jobs available or more positions, more everything to a certain extent out there than there was before this. So where the hell did all the people go? Uh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, not that many people died. A lot of them weren't part of the workforce, elderly, things like that. Uh, where did all the people go, and what are they doing? It's creepy. I don't. It doesn't all add up. When you put it all together, it doesn't all add up. Catalar says, I think that paying people ends tomorrow, if not mistaken, unless they extend that again. Well, if they extended it for us, I'm guessing they are going to probably extend it for them because that's what they do. And let's face it, we have, I don't know, an endless supply of money, it seems. Hit that keyboard a couple more times, just put some more zeros on there, and you get a million. It's like Oprah. We're living in an Oprah show. You get a million. You get a million. You get a million. It's kind of what it's coming to. Leroy, they laid them off because of the shutdown. Yeah, but why ain't they back? If these places can't find help, why aren't they forced back to work? Now, granted, some places I don't feel sorry for. They can't find help because they don't want to pay. That's their own damn fault. But I've seen words. I've seen places paying ridiculous amounts of money for ridiculously unimportant jobs. Not unimportant. All jobs are unimportant. What do you call it? No basic work skills required for large amounts of money, and they still can't find help. Sterling says, when I was running FedEx Ground, the hub was losing people to stimulus like crazy. Why huck boxes at $14 an hour? I bet you they're paying substantially more than that now. And if they're not, it's their own damn fault they can't get help. But did you see FedEx and Amazon are fighting again? FedEx is going to stop doing some LTL deliveries for Amazon. Those guys are going to break up permanently soon. But yeah, so where are these people? And it's odd too. I don't really know anybody that's purposely staying home and not working to collect a check. Does anybody in here know somebody that's doing that? And What are they saying is the reason, or how much are they getting? Look here. If anybody wants to come in and chat, they're welcome to. I can't do this all day. We still got some work to do. But anybody wants to pop in, they're welcome. Just you got to show your face and have something to say. Um, Gary says the real question is why is Kenworth laying out 350? I've been told that they do that regularly on a routine basis. They're known for that, and then they'll bring them back. What's the purpose for that? I don't know, but somebody that is from that area told me that they're known for that. So I don't worry too much about that. Maybe they don't have the parts to make trucks too. I don't know. I really don't know. Cattle Holland says no. All right. But yeah, does anybody know somebody that's purposely staying home? With let's see. Sterling says FedEx desperately wanted to sell out to Amazon. Most people I know sitting on their stimulus are at their parents' house or 4 roommates at a household. Okay. Well, that takes care of that group of people. But rent is well, now they wanted to say that landlords can't collect rent again still. I know there's big protests about it. Where are you going to live when the bank forecloses on that property? You know, uh, eventually, even if they do make it so you can collect rent again, you're going to have that back paid, and then they'll release the laws saying about foreclosures, and then it's just going to all hit. Where do you think you're going to live when suddenly the place gets foreclosed and the bank evicts you for not paying? And then you got it on your record, for references that you didn't pay your rent. People don't think quite far enough down the road. I know rent is getting expensive around me. Sterling says, I think that's eminent domain if I can't collect rent. Okay, well, too much shenanigans going on everywhere. You can only kick any can down the road so far. That's with the trucking or the rent or the not working. Any can only be kicked so far down the road. Where does it all end? And the farther you kick it down the road, bigger the problem is going to be by the time it blows up, and then just a massive chaos, and you're going to have problems. You're going to have a housing crisis. You're going to have a stock market crisis. You have a bond crisis. You'll have a transportation crisis. You'll have a crisis in everything. So then what? Cattle Holland says they'll get a CDL and live in a truck. Good for them. Hey, that's what I would do. Not opposed to that. Then hey, we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We get somebody off the government nipple and back to work, and we get them housing. I'm all for that. Louise says, "Do you run reefer?" Yes, I do. Yes, we do over here. We run reefer. Trying to buy some more reefers right now. Good luck with that. I have a good hookup, and he's even having trouble getting me trailers. Hillbilly Crypto says Supreme Court overturned rent delay. Foreclosures in full effect. Okay. All right. Now, are they going to? Now, when from the beginning, it was supposed to be like an abatement type thing where you didn't have to, you couldn't not pay your rent. When it was over, you had to pay your back rent, if I remember correctly. So, are they enforcing the thing to make people pay the back rent, or is somebody just saying, "Oh, we forgive all that"? Be curious to know that too. Everybody thinks that these landlords and property owners. I have rental property. I'm just a freaking dude. My people continued to pay. We had an agreement. My property is somewhat under rented. Agreement is you can continue to pay your rent. I agree not to raise your rent when this is all over. So, agreements can be made. People can work deals out with each other. And effective. Good people. We have good tenants. I like them very much. Cattle Holland says tough to do with a family though. Yeah. Hey, I've seen people stack up the whole family and put in that truck and go trailer trucking. 702 trucker says customer service is at an all-time low now. Boy, howdy, you got that right. Oh my God, it is. um, a friend of mine was in, Minneapolis Mall or Target or something a week or so ago, and he was saying how pretty much a cashier or somebody that works there and a customer just pretty much just had all out, you know, pretty much everything but F your mother, and they can just do it. Yeah, there's no service anymore. Nothing. Road Float says, I don't know personally, but it sure feels like my entire state of California is home on the couch. Every couple of weeks, I get a check in the mailbox, and I don't even need it. You, what are they sending you a check for? Can you explain that to me? Break that. I'd like to know. I didn't know. I did not know California was dishing out checks. Go figure. Sterling says I have hopes that people that know how to hustle, work under the table, will survive all this hoopla. Yeah, man. There's still a lot of people out here that want to work and want to hustle and find the there's a lot of opportunity out there right now, especially if you're looking for to upgrade. People will hire you to do jobs that you are not qualified right now for, just because they need people so bad. Get your foot in the door. You can grow into the job, and when people come back to work, if they ever come back to work, you're going to be their boss. That you might be the boss over people with bachelor's degrees when you have a high school diploma because their sorry ass didn't want to work, and you're out there humping it all day, every day. That's what I'd be doing right now, or start a business. Great time to start a business and fill an empty void somewhere. Absolutely. Gary says, is this the social justice warrior collective joining forces of the superpowers and showing what they can do? We the people? I don't know. I'm not up on my superheroes. The social justice warrior, what kind of cape and outfit is that? I'm just kidding. I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I try not to get into all that. My tolerance for things is that of a 72-year-old grumpy old man. I might as well wear my wingtip shoes and suck on Werther's Originals all day. I'm getting to be such a cranky old codger at the ripe old age of 45. 702 Trucker says, I'm changing my residence to California for a couple of weeks. There you go. You could be a California immigrant and get those checks. 702, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's Southern Nevada, right? Las Vegas area, I believe. Am I wrong on that? Vaslui says, are we still allowed to do 7-hour split on ELD book? Yes, it did not change the hours of service at all. All it did was extend the exemption of the rules. And Georgia Patriot says, grumble, grumble, get off my lawn. Yeah, you kids get off my property. And you have to effectively wave a 12 gauge around while you're doing that. Luis says, after hearing you say $9 a mile, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I run a hopper and average 285 a mile. Should I get off the hopper and get a reefer? No, Louise, I was joking. That was a joke. That was going to the thing of we're becoming freight snobs and people saying I don't even start my truck for less than $3 a mile or whatever. It was tongue in cheek. You should you should not quit what you're doing and seek out the $9 a mile. Uh, Averaging 285 a mile over the road historically would be a good thing. So if you're happy with what you're doing, stick with it. That's a pretty good, that's a good average, if you're figuring on all empty miles and everything. But let's see here. What else? Let's take a look at that California freight quick. I'm curious as to what happened with that California freight right about now. Where should we look? Tracy, California, and we'll go out to 100 miles. No particular destination. See how bad produce is banging right now. Oh no. Tracy to Orlando 9,000. Is that all? Man, there's it's good. It's good. Looks like volume is down a little bit though. Are we tapering off a produce season in California and maybe going down to like Nogales or something? I don't know when things start to shift here. Oh, I was only doing a 20-mile deadhead. Let's do 200-mile. That's why. That's why. My fault. We'll do today and tomorrow. There we go. That's more like it. Fresno, California to the Bronx. $12,300. To Boston, $12,250. Looks like you can get all the loads you want from that area out to the Bronx for about 12 grand. Oh, let's see. How far do we got to go to get below 11 grand? Methuen, Mass, Rhode Island, Maryland, 3,000 miles, $10,700. I am 3 pages down and I'm still over $10,000. Oh boy. Yes, sir. We can probably go 100 loads deep before we get below 9,000 bucks. I saw Chicago. Where did that go? Yeah, we go deep into the list. Deep into the list before we get below 9 grand. That's tasty. We might have to get a truck out there. Shelbyville, Tennessee for 8,000. Damn. Here we go, back to my stomping grounds. Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 7,500. Looking good. Looking good. Hate to see what that would have turned to tomorrow if the exemption would have went away, but it looks like we're good for now. Oh, what else? Yep, 702 area code is Las Vegas. Moved here from 614 in Ohio. Okay. Sterling says if you outrun the trains, you can get $9 pulling blades. Wow, there you go. Road Float says the bill forgives the back rent like they're doing with student debt, like they'll do with medical bills and every other thing. 5 trillion goes a long ways for a few months. Ugh. Ugh. People can't even comprehend how much $1 trillion is. Michael says, are they requiring truckers to get the job? To get the jab? Not as of right now. Some private businesses are requiring it. Tyson Foods is requiring it. I heard they had a massive labor problem since then, which whatever. Honestly, I'm tired of that topic. I need a break from it. Ooh, Ryan Brandenburg says $2,000 from Rochelle, Illinois to Shawano. Let's ride. Oh, buddy. Let's do that. Let's do that every day. It's only what, 200 miles? No, 220. Right around there. Now Bolia USA wants to know. I want to know who's going to pay this bill from all these people collecting these checks. Little secret, nobody's going to pay it. You know why? Because it's impossible to pay. The amount of money they're giving out does not exist. It is all being created. And it's all fiat. It's all fake. It's all la la land. A lot more to it than that, but that's the basics of it. Who's going to pay it? Nobody's going to pay it because the amount of money they're paying out not even exist. Ryan says Yuma and Nogales don't start till Thanksgiving time. Okay. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, it's been a long time since I did that route there. How's that? I know where you're working over there now, Ryan. How's that? It sounds like you're happy as a clam over there. Good for you. Loadboard produce, Nightmare City. Yeah, they like to throw a bunch of wrenches in there, don't they? When you're booking produce off a loadboard, it can get to be quite a mess. Jerome Jones says, as long as I can make 1,000 to 1,100 a day, I'm good. That's a good daily rate. In these days right now, with reefer, if you're doing short hoppers and stuff, you can get up around that 1,500 a day mark. But it's hard on you. It's hard on the driver, and to do it every day. You're not gonna probably do it every day. But Road Float says, I have received a $600 check 4 times in the last 15 months from the state. My tax return suggests that I don't need this money. They call it stimulus. I guess everyone know I'm no accountant. Big question, Road Float. Do you feel stimulated? Does that check stimulate you in any way? Trucking Up says, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Road Float says, if I had dependent children, it would be way more. So I hear. I'll sign on as a dependent for you. You just sign it on over. We'll call it my college fund. But what it's really going to be is to support a young lady who's trying to put herself through college and finds herself probably dancing on a pole. I'll give it to charity too. It's she's the dancer. Up next. I'll take care of that money for you. Oscar Ortiz, how can I get in contact with you? Just email me, diysemi@yahoo.com. You can get in contact with me right there. Sterling says, to count to 1 trillion, you need 31.7 years if you count every second. Yeah. It's an insane amount of money. It's an insane. Isn't a stack of $1 trillion $100 bills taller than like the Empire State Building? Something like that. It's and that's just 1 trillion. They're giving out multiple trillions. Robert Burns in the house. What's good today? Not much. We're talking about they extended the exemption for the emergency transport of relief goods here today. So we're just talking about that, putting the word out. What's up with you? Greg Hayes says, side note, the stimulus was a great way to buy a couple AR-15s. Couldn't think of a better way to spend money sent from the left. Oh, I don't know what an AR-15 is, Greg. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. No, you'll have to explain that to me. Is that a new cookie put out by Nabisco? Just teasing you. Truckin' Dad says, good morning from the Chicago area. Well, good morning to you, sir. Good morning. We're now in the land of we hand out money like candy and get you hooked on that stimulus smack. Are you still using bypass filters on all your trucks? I use it on mine, and then the Macs have a built-in bypass filter, and I have another driver who's putting one on his truck probably in the next couple of weeks. Got it on order. It hasn't come in yet. He's going with the OPS1 system. I have the AMSOIL system on mine, and then those Macs, they have one built in. So yeah, I like them. Definitely like the bypass filters. Sent a driver for a service at a Love's yesterday. No filters for the truck. Didn't have them. Couldn't get them. So you bounce up on out of there. Maybe that's another thing. I should grab a little stock of some filters and some oil. Parts are desperate right now. Anybody that has equipment that you use a certain amount of regular parts for, maybe grab a few extra parts. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Sterling says, what year Mac are you running? Good luck. There is a 2014 Pinnacle CXU 613, 2005 Pinnacle CXU 613s, and a 2006 Pinnacle CXU 613. Yeah, good luck with them. Liking them. Now, I was on a call last night with a dude saying, he purchased a 2013 Freightliner, 2014 Freightliner, 700,000 miles. And paid 70 grand for it. And saying, well, this and that, and I don't care if people overpaid or whatever, this and that. And it made me feel good about my purchases because they were all purchased for, one was 36.9, 42.9, and 38.9. And then the other one I think was like 2014, I want to say was 32. Now the 15s had 420,000 miles on them, paying 42.9 and 38.9. Made me feel really, really good about those purchases, and I'm still able to buy them pretty reasonable price. Are they perfect? No. Do they get this fuel mileage as a Freightliner? No. But nothing. No truck has to be forever. And right now, you need trucks to be in business and haul freight, and I have them, and at a reasonable price. We can always upgrade if things straighten themselves out. We can upgrade. They have been great trucks. Very minor maintenance. One of them a little more than others, but the guy traded it in. He neglected it a little bit, but nothing major. Charge air cooler, some things like that. But really good luck. And surprisingly, to my surprise, without exception, well, one guy, he says he likes it. I don't know how much, but the three other guys absolutely love those trucks. One was all he ever wanted was a Kenworth of his own, and he says, I wouldn't buy a Kenworth now. I'd only buy one of these. So they love them. I don't know. My truck's still a Freightliner. I'd still prefer a Freightliner, but given the choice between right now buying a Cascadia with 700,000 miles for, I don't know, what the hell did he say? Oh, I take that back. It was 600,000 miles. Given a choice between buying a Freightliner with 600,000 miles for 70 grand, I would way sooner buy one of those with 400 to 450,000 miles for between 40 and 46 grand. Sterling says his local dealer is pushing them very cheap as international. I tell you what, I would take a Mac 10 times out of 10 before I would take an international. Especially, obviously with the Max Force, but even over the Cummins, and I have nothing against Cummins. I don't feel that the International Pro Star, the used ones from a few years back, I don't think they're very great quality trucks. Merely my opinion. I would take a Mac every day of the week over one of them. The chassis on the Mac is tough as nails. They don't even rattle going. I mean, they're just, you're driving a quality truck. 702 Trucker says Thermal Byproducts doesn't have any tri-pack filter kits in stock. I believe it. I don't doubt it one bit. There's just a list of everything. You could stock up on everything and be justified. You only got so much money. Right now, NOx sensors are an issue. Everything's an issue. You can't even talk about. You can't even go all the way down the list. Just everything's an issue. Louise says he got a 2009 Cascadia with 650,000 miles for 24K. All right, that's a good price. Little older truck, but if it's taken care of, it'd be a good truck for you. Roadfloat says he's arriving home with more emergency lumber. Take it easy, folks. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, we'll wrap this up here soon. Twiggy says he bought a 2013 Cascadia day cab with a wet kit for end dump. DD13 10 speed, 667,000 miles, 25K. That ain't a bad price. Can't even say this name, sir or ma'am. I apologize. Hello, just want to say thank you for your great contents. I'm a new subscriber, love your videos. Well, thanks for checking them out. I appreciate that. Robert Burns says my 2005 Mac drives smoother, straighter than my 2015 Freightliner. Yeah, man. Aren't they freaking great trucks? Like, it's almost like you can't hurt them. Obviously it's a Volvo engine and a Volvo the powertrain is Volvo, but we haven't had any problems. Injectors, most of them had new injectors when we bought them. I will say that. And one of them had a new high pressure fuel pump. Other than that, that's about it. So, but as far as the chassis goes, man, unbeatable. This Max seems to be better built. They are. The suspension everything's better. It's just stronger. They're a little bit heavier. I will say that. Max are good quality, but horribly uncomfortable to sit in. David says, now, I thought the same thing, but the driver said they're very comfortable and they ride exceedingly well. The ride is great. It would be nice if the headroom was better, above the driver's seat. You got that wedge type thing, but I guess you can't have it all. Oh, where's that? Trucking Up says, I'm lucky and had my ag store in Hondo, Texas stock up on all your filters. Yeah, that's excellent. I got a Napa right down the road that hooks me up. My husband is a new owner operator, and he's been doing power only. It's been hard to find a trailer to rent. Any info on that? Welcome to the club. Everybody's having trouble finding a trailer right now. Everybody. Just keep looking, man. Get on, call some salesmen if they got a list going. Get on their list to be called when a trailer comes available. That's just keep banging it out on the internet. Check all your dealers locally. Effort, just put all that effort out. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I'm dealing with the same thing, and so is everybody else. New trailers, you want to order a new trailer, you're gonna wait. I don't know how long. And expensive new dry vans, I've seen over $50,000. So a couple of years ago, you could get a reefer for that. I mean, it's ridiculous. And peak season is coming. Yes, that's right, Sterling. Although we are already hauling holiday freight. So everybody's wondering what rates are going to do. Put 2 and 2 together in your head. Peak season has not yet hit, although we are in holiday freight. We are hauling peak season freight because places have decided they have to ship their stuff sooner to get it in time. Capacity might come out of the market if they do reverse whatever with the rules. With trouble getting new equipment, older equipment falls off and it's harder to replace. You got everybody's having, drivers are harder and harder to find every day. But freight is busier. So you tell me what freight rates are going to do. It's not too hard. Unless left to its own devices, it will be strong. Freight will pay good unless somebody steps in. If somebody steps in, nobody can predict that. There's nothing you can do about it. Or if we have some kind of man-made or natural disaster. Again, Gary says, I think it's 10 months before you get a trailer rental. Yes. Don't be surprised if it takes years at some point. Because these megas are going to step up. They need trailers right now, but they're not as desperate as the average person like you and I. If they get desperate like us, they will step up and pay what they got to pay. They will. I'm surprised you haven't seen a mega turn and try to buy a trailer manufacturer, to be perfectly honest with you, or start their own. But you can't get a lot of those parts either. I was at the utility dealer. Rails, those lower rails on the trailer and the upper rails, hard to get. Power only is paying good. Yes, in perspective of historically, yes, it is paying. It's paying well. Those people will turn on you when they don't need you anymore. That's the thing. Gary Bates says, I tried co-op. All right, I don't know what that is, but I think we got to wrap this up. I got work to do. It's the work day, business hours, and I just wanted to stop in here and put the word out about the extension being granted, so everybody doesn't have to sit at the computer like me and stare at it all day, and we can all breathe a little easier. And you don't need to panic about tomorrow, because tomorrow's just another day. So everybody take care. We'll wrap this up, and we will talk to y'all later. Have a good day.